The consciousness chooses the parents. They choose everything to the T. Everything. So they choose the father, they choose the mother, right? Even after marriage, even after the child is 20 years old, 25 years old, then they have another mother. Like if you are, if you are a Gujarati, in Gujarat, this is a very common trend that they have Muh Boli Behan, Muh Boli mother. They have that spiritual connection. So every child comes with a spiritual connection. They does not matter. Parents do not need to be married. For them, it does not matter. Spirituality does not have any qualms about marriage. It does not have any qualms about religion. No, nothing. No barriers in spirituality. So what happens? It's an experience. So if I want to experience, right? So for an example, it's a very beautiful and a very intricate and a very complex, at the same time very common experience that there are only 3 forms of food: protein, carbohydrates and fats. But today, how do we experience the proteins, carbs and fats is another story, right? When you eat food, there is only 3 options: carbs, fats and proteins. But when you eat food, it's a totally different experience. You don't experience proteins, carbs and fat. You experience something totally different, right? That is how spirituality is. What happens is that when a consciousness wants to come to earth, that consciousness first will choose the parents. So for an example, a person, Anil, he has chosen parents. So he says, I want this parents. So the whole consciousness system, everyone knows everyone, is connected with everyone, understands everything about everyone. Beyond imagination, I understand. So now when this consciousness says, I want to be born in this era, this country, and I want this kind of parents. So the whole divine consciousness, there are 2 sets of 2 people as in consciousness. They say, okay, I will be the parents. Then the consciousness says, I don't want to get married, but I want to have children, but I want this, but I want that. So the moment they say this, that, automatically a few consciousnesses come forward and they say, I will do this, I will do that. In that lifetime, you help me here, so I will help you here. Now all this is because of a spiritual evolution, right? So a consciousness comes into existence. A person who asks, I want to be a father or a mother, in consciousness level, whatever is going to happen are the options 500 years back, before your parents were born. You choose your parents even before they are born. That is what happens. So in the consciousness space, whatever is happening today is 500 years ago. Everything is in the now. It's complicated, but at the same time it is not complicated, because what also happens is, so the whole plan that you had sorted, that okay, I will have such a child, cancelled, and then the option 2 happens. So what is the option 2? Because child has to have, you need to have the child. So in my case, my real example, I had children. Spiritually, I could see my children, okay? A girl and a boy, everything before marriage. So when I met my husband, he had a girl saying that I have a girl child. I said I have a boy child, and we connected with each other and we said, okay, now we are going to, we understand each other what we are trying to say. Not many people can understand. Why? Because these are my spiritual children. My husband had a spiritual child. He could feel the energies of daughter. Right? And which is when we got married, after that we did not want to have children because of whatever spiritual purposes. Because I have a very different life, spiritually totally different life. And then when I said, okay, I don't mind not having children, but my daughter was there. So she automatically took a body of a dog. And within 1.5 months, she was in the house. Right? Then after that, my husband had a very deep wish of having a boy, but not a biological child. So he again got a dog, and we had a full beautiful family of a daughter and son and 2 of us. And my daughter, the female, the girl child, the dog, the girl dog, and my boy dog, they love each other. The way you see the connection is so pure and beautiful. She's the elder daughter. She has her own attitude. He's the young brother. He has his own cute ways of talking to her, following her and taking care of her in a very beautiful way. It's a very beautiful family. Now, what if I had a real physical human child? My child's average or my child's life would be only 15 years. But then because I did not have to go through that pain, It was a dog that I got for myself. Rather, the child came to us in a form of a dog. She knew everything about us. She was just waiting for us to happen. So she was 45 days when we got her. She knew everything. She knew my husband. She knew me. She just came home. Bas. Simple. She never cried. So you just feel that connection that this is our own child. So they do choose us as parents, but then if they don't come in as a biological children, then they come in as animals. If not animals, they come in as plants, right? Birds. This is how they come into our life. This all happens at spiritual level. 400, 100, 200 years before we are born. So the option is given that first is this. Okay, so I say, okay, I want to have a child, biological child. Then this is what happens. This script will run. I say, no, I don't want a biological child. Then that is cancelled and the other script is run. Then I say, no, wo bhi nahi chahiye. So third script is run. Same consciousness can take any form if they are connected with me. If they are going to be mothered by me, they will take whichever form comes into play. That is my free will, my choice. Yeah. So this all happens at a highest spiritual level. Physical level, I don't even know what is happening. I'm just living my life without realizing I have choices. I'm making choices and my choice is being played into this physical world, manifested in this physical world. Yeah. But let me tell you one thing, there are no coincidences. Everything is connected. There are no loose threads. Everything is connected. Everything is in a connection. Everything is complete. Everything is akhand. Nothing is khandit. Nothing is khandit. So what goes around actually comes around. Whatever you ask is actually manifested. But which manifestation takes place when is the question. And it is to see, right? Thank you.